Hey guys, it's Lainey. So, the holiday season is officially upon us. I've been watching a lot of videos lately from some of my favorite carnivores talking about how it might be a little bit challenging to stick to the carnivore diet or maybe the ketogenic diet, depending on what you're doing during holiday festivities. And there's been some really fantastic information for carnivores, for people who do keto. I'm sure there's some great advice videos for vegans. I don't watch those because I don't need that advice, but I wanted to do a video that is aimed at the people who are hosting the event and may have to deal with a person who has unique eating habits, because for a lot of people, the carnivore diet, even the keto diet, vegan diet, any kind of, I don't know, just regular low carb diet, anything that deviates from this stupid American diet may seem very off-putting, very confusing, very difficult to deal with, maybe even downright offensive. So this video is for anyone out there who's having a hard time accepting the strange, the weird, the unique diet of a holiday guest. And I'm not going to prattle on about it anymore. We're just going to get right into it. Let's begin by addressing the most common and probably the most understandable assumption that people make when someone enters a social gathering with unique eating habits. People tend to assume that they're just trying to lose weight. They're on a diet. They're watching their figure. And that might be the case. And if that is the case, then go ahead and be supportive. But more than likely, if they are sticking to this way of eating, not a diet, not a weight loss plan, but a lifestyle, even at a social gathering where they're going to be the weirdo at the table with just meat on their plate or no pie, they are sticking to it so rigidly because they probably have an underlying medical condition that is extremely uncomfortable at best and perhaps even life-threatening at worst. And if that is the case, then that is likely to be a very sensitive topic and one that they probably don't want to spend a lot of time talking about, especially at a joyful celebration. And you probably don't want to spend a lot of time hearing about it. If you're really, really concerned, you can ask them about it later on. But in the meantime, the kindest thing you can do for this person is just tell them that you're happy to see them. Tell them that you are glad that they made it. Let them eat what they want to eat and don't comment on what they're not eating. It's also really common for people to assume that someone who is not pigging out at a party might have an eating disorder. And you are so, so sweet for caring and for worrying about this person. But I can tell you, as a therapist who has worked with clients who do have eating disorders, they hide them. They go out of their way to hide the fact that they have disordered eating habits. A rigid diet, or maybe a diet that seems unusual to you, is not necessarily an eating disorder. In fact, it's probably not. Again, because people with eating disorders go to great lengths to hide it. They want to appear as normal and perfect and inconspicuous as possible. So let me show you a little example of someone who's trying to hide an eating disorder.
You have to do a lot of talking. I'm good at talking. You do that while you're cutting things up a lot. And then, questions. Where's your student card?
Sorry?
Your ID. Have you got it?
No, I lost it somewhere last week.
Change the subject. This is great. I love these sausages. You should try one. Go on. Delicious.
So in contrast to Cassie, someone who is doing a unique diet, something that may seem very strange to you if someone is keto or carnivore or vegan, they'll usually come out and tell you. Furthermore, they're not going to try to hide it, and they probably don't want to make a big deal out of it. So again, the kindest thing that you can do for your guest is don't make a big deal out of it. The second thing that people tend to forget when someone shows up to a party with some unique eating habits is that they are there because they love you. They are not there just for the free food. And that should be a good thing, right? They're there because they love you. They're not there just to chow down. They're there to socialize and to catch up. But I do completely understand that that is you on a plate. Maybe you brought a dish to the party and they're not eating it. Maybe you're hosting the entire gathering and you prepared the whole feast. You cooked with love. These were your grandmother's recipes. You're using creativity. You are using your cooking skills. Your caramel apple pecan praline surprise is legendary and everyone loves it. And for someone to refuse that, it feels like a personal rejection. Am I in the ballpark? And when you are standing there, pie in hand, feeling so rejected and so disappointed that this guest did not eat your pie, that sounded dirty. Anyway, you're feeling rejected. You feel awful. It's a terrible feeling. It's an uncomfortable feeling. Nobody likes it. What do you do with it? I would say just address it. Just say, I'm so disappointed that you won't try my grandmother's recipe. Everybody loves this pie. And if that person is not a complete douchebag, they will look you in the eye, they will give you a hug, or they will take your hand and they will tell you, it looks amazing, it smells amazing, I would totally try it if I didn't have this medical condition that puts me at risk for this, and this if I consume sugar. I just can't eat sugar. It has nothing to do with you. And if you can't accept that explanation, there's a problem. If you can accept it, then go on and talk about something else. But I need to address the issue of loving through food. Because if you only know how to show love by cooking and feeding people, that's a problem. And that's something that you need to work out within your own mind. Because there are so many other ways to show love. And if you only feel loved in return when someone eats the food that you prepared, that's a problem too. And that's something that you have to work out for yourself. Because there are so many other ways to accept love aside from chowing down. So if your love language is food, maybe learn another language. To me, one of the best ways to show somebody that you love them and that you care is to show an interest. Take interest. Ask them what's going on. So that leads me to point number 3. Why does the conversation have to revolve around food? Take an interest in this person's life. What's going on with them? Are they in college? Do they have a new relationship? How are their kids? How's their mom doing? How's their job going? How's that cool project that they're working on going? There are so many other things that you can talk about. And if you are only just hammering the point of food, why can't you eat this? What's wrong with you? Why are you on this crazy diet? They're not going to feel loved. So make them feel loved by taking an interest in them. And it's also highly likely that they want to know what's been going on with you. Aside from the day that you spent slaving away in the kitchen, they want to know about your life. What projects are you working on aside from preparing Thanksgiving? There's got to be something else going on in your life. Your kids, grandkids, your job, a relationship. Maybe you're in a new relationship and you would like to tell this person all about your new man or your new lady. Maybe you just went through a terrible breakup and you want to just talk some mad smack about that guano crazy ex of yours. This is a perfect opportunity to talk about that instead of talking about fucking pie. Number 4, and this is probably what many of you have been thinking this entire time. Why can't this person just be normal? Just for this one day, why can't they eat some pie, have some casserole, and just be freaking normal? Okay, I'm gonna be a dick for a second. There is nothing normal about the typical American diet. There is nothing normal about the USDA guidelines for how we should eat. The food pyramid is fucked. It is terrible advice. It is making us sick. It's not normal. Humans were not designed to eat that way. So I will argue that actually I'm the normal one, the person who eats meat, or maybe somebody is more paleo and they're eating just whole foods, meat and veg. That's normal. All this processed food, it's not normal. But I get what you're saying. Okay, I'm gonna stop being a dick now. I totally get what you're saying. This is what we're used to. The processed food, all the sugar, all the carbs, that is the standard American diet. It is what we're used to. But when you ask a person who finally feels normal and healthy, a person who has previously had a really awful medical condition, and they either completely reversed that medical condition or greatly improved it through diet, and you're telling them, why can't you be normal? Their response is going to be, well, I feel normal. The way I continue to feel normal is by eating this diet. This diet that makes you so uncomfortable makes me feel normal. So I actually am being normal. So do you guys want to hear a quick little personal story? Probably not, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So there was a time long before I had discovered the carnivore diet when I thought that I just could not eat without getting sick. There was something wrong with my digestive system that the gastroenterologist just could not find, but there had to be something wrong because every single time I ate, I felt miserable. And it was because I had not recognized that I'm super sensitive to fiber and fructose. So I was eating vegetables, a lot of them, thinking that that was healthy, thinking that that was good for me. I was eating fructose, usually in the form of high fructose corn syrup, not knowing that it was injected into some of the processed food that I was eating. And so I just thought, okay, I just had some crackers and some fruit and some stir-fried vegetables with brown sauce. Why am I miserable? That's healthy, right? And I know I'm not the only person who thought that way at one time. Anyway, so just giving up and thinking no matter what I do, I'm gonna feel sick when I eat. I would go to parties and I would know that if I didn't eat, people were going to find it weird. Now, people already find me weird, but they find me adorably weird. They find me weird and charming and eccentric, not like off-puttingly weird. Believe it or not, people in real life find me cutely weird. But if I didn't eat, then there was going to be an interrogation. And people were going to feel uncomfortable and they were going to be squirmy and they were going to look at me sideways. So I ate. And then I would feel miserable. And when I say feeling miserable after eating, I'm talking just extreme nausea, lethargy, feeling so bloated. Like I would go from my normal size to like a 4-month baby bump in one meal. And this isn't a vanity thing. This isn't like, oh my God, I look so fat now. This is misery. This is pain. And so I'm sitting there after the meal, just feeling miserable, but knowing that if I were to outwardly display, that would make people uncomfortable. So I would be ha ha ha, laughing at jokes, trying to be jovial and quirky and bubbly, but dying inside. And so after quite a while, I finally decided that I was no longer that was going to be a really strong, powerful statement, and I got tongue twisted. I was no longer going to set myself on fire to keep other people warm. Repeat that. Do not ever set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. And when you are asking someone with a medical condition that is helped by eating a certain way, when you were asking that person to eat pie or casserole or whatever does not agree with their digestive system, you are asking them to set themselves on fire so that you can be all toasty warm. And that's not cool. Okay, enough about my personal life. I never know if it's a good idea to tell personal stories on YouTube. I know that some people feel more connected when the YouTuber tells a story about their personal past. Other people just want you to stick to the topic. I clearly have not figured out YouTube yet. I mean, just look at my subscriber count. I have no clue what people want to see. I just kind of do my thing. But what I do know is that the producer in my head is going whoopee right now, which we all know means wrap it up. So I'm going to wrap it up. The fifth and final thing that you need to understand when you are dealing with a holiday guest who may have some unique eating habits is that you don't know what else they have going on in their life. You don't know how many Thanksgiving celebrations they have to go to. You don't know what they're doing for Black Friday. Probably this year, nothing. But during a typical year, there may be a lot of events going on Black Friday. They may have kids who have shows that weekend. They may be like me and they may like to go to the Renaissance Festival. Here in Texas, we have a really fun Renaissance Festival and it goes through November, and so I usually like to go the weekend after Thanksgiving as long as I'm feeling well, because I always like to dress up and sometimes my costume is skimpy and I definitely don't want to be bloated when I go. So there's so many things that could be influencing this person's decision to not set themselves on fire to keep you warm. So just understand, it's not about you. That is the point of this whole video. I had no idea how I was going to wrap this up, but that's the point. It's not about you. It is not a lack of love for you. It is about their respect for their physical and mental health. And if you can respect their physical and mental health as well and not take it personally and just enjoy their company, then you will have a fabulous holiday season no matter how picky your guest may be. And that wraps it up for today. As always, thank you guys so very much for joining me. Follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back. I am a very active but very amateur cosplayer, but I've got a lot of cosplay pictures on Instagram as well as a lot of really adorable pictures of my kitty cats. Very special shout out to you if you are watching this video on the toilet. I no longer watch videos on the toilet because I am no longer constipated because I'm a carnivore. And on that note, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.